Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more dedicated Legacy action. For today's midweek meta deck, we are playing MeTheKaptain's Legacy Prelim winning the Epic Storm deck. So, what is the Epic Storm? Essentially, it is a deck that wants to play a bunch of spells and then use these Burning Wishes to tutor for the Tendrils of Agony in the sideboard, point at your opponent's face for lethal. So we have several engines in the deck in terms of Mind's Desire, Galvanic Relay and Echo of Eons. So these allow us to keep going after we've played all of our 0-drops or our mana spells like Dark Ritual and Rite of Flame. So they're going to help us keep going, building up momentum and things. So we can have a big turn with a load of stuff, cast a Relay and have a bigger turn the following turn. Or we can play the Mind's Desire and just have a massive turn that turn and probably win the game. Or we can have Echo of Eons to dig ourselves into either one of those. Or if we've just played enough spells, we can then use our tutors, like the Burning Wish, to go and get our Tendrils. Alternatively, we can Wishclaw for a Burning Wish to then get the Tendrils. So, as you can imagine, a lot of our deck is dedicated to doing that thing. So, the only things that aren't specifically dedicated to that is Brainstorm for fixing our hand, which can just be, the difference between winning and losing a game. And we have the Veil of Summers as protection. Veil of Summer, very good in the world of blue-black scam that is everywhere right now. So, this seems like a really good shout for this deck. Mana base wise, we have 4 dual lands, I believe, right? Sorry, 5 dual lands. We have Badlands, Bayou, Taiga, Underground Sea, and Volcanic Island with a bunch of fetches. So the Bloodstained Mire can fetch Badlands, Bayou, Underground Sea, Volcanic Island, or Taiga. So that can get all of our colours. So that's why that's the one we're running 4 of. Scalding Tarn and Verdant Catacombs can't get all of our lands, but they can get all but one of them. So that's why we've got those ones there. So we have to keep an eye on the duels we have when we're fetching in this league to make sure that we don't make a mistake that way around. All right. So that's the main deck. Sideboard, obviously we're a Burning Wish deck, so our sideboard is kind of an extension of our deck more so than other decks. So we have a Galvanic Relay, so we can use the Burning Wish to then get more momentum if that's where we're at. We have Grapeshot, which is an alternative win condition that can get through opposing Veil of Summers, unlike the Tendrils of Agony. Got some Thoughtseize, we can find these if we want to make sure the coast is clear before we go off. We have a Pulverize, which can blow up a lot of problem permanents like Chalice, or we can sometimes blow up a Trinisphere with it. It will cost us 2 lands and 3 mana, but it's certainly doable. Peer into the Abyss, if we ever cast this target ourselves, we should win the game, so we're going to draw many cards. We've got other engines of our Mind's Desire and Echo of Eons, so if they're what we want, we can go pick them up there. Empty Warrens, another different way of killing. And then we've got some other cards that we'll be boarding in. So we have the Chain of Vapor and the Abrupt Decay, depending on what permanents we think are going to be a problem for us, or if we think it's going to be spells that are a problem, we have some Thoughtseize. We can board in a couple of these and leave one in the sideboard, perhaps, or maybe we're boarding in all 3. The sideboarding is probably where I'm going to come unstuck a little bit. I'm not very good with Storm, but you don't get better if you don't play things, and that's kind of what the channel's about, is exploring, playing lots of different stuff. And I know you enjoy a bit of green-black turbo depths on my channel, but it's nice to see other stuff as well. So that's why we try and play all sorts of weird and wonderful decks here, even if they're a little bit out of my comfort zone. So hopefully I'm not going to embarrass myself too much with this one. I always like playing Storm, but it's always a massive headache because it's really hard. But this one I think might be a little bit easier because we're not trying to do ad nauseum lines as much, which might be a touch easier for us, but we'll see. All right, before we start the league, I do have a Patreon, which you can find in the description below. It's got some good stuff on it if you're interested. I also have a Discord that's free to join, so why not come and say hello. And just remember to like and subscribe the video because that really helps. Okay, let's play MeTheKaptain's Legacy Prelim winning Epic Storm deck. If you're looking to play Legacy on MTGO like me, why not try Card Hoarder? They're a rental service that I personally use, and I found them better than other rental services that I've used in the past. So why not give them a try? We're on the play. We can do a relay for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can do a little relay. I think this is worth keeping because we basically get to draw 5 cards on top of the one we're drawing for turn next turn because of the relay, whilst already having Metalcraft and a Mox Opal and lands available. Okay, so I think we're supposed to get the Taiga first. So we use the Verdant Catacombs because the Bloodstained Mire can get any land in our deck. So we go and get the Taiga here. And we cast this Rite of Flame. Right, our opponent is just letting us do our thing here. So we're going to play these without any imprint on them. We're going to cast this. So we're going to get 5 new spells for next turn. What do we find? Wishclaw, Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Burning Wish, Veil of Summer. Okay. That's some stuff. We've also got a draw step for turn. City of Traitors, Grim Monolith. Okay, our opponent's on some playing stuff out, getting you quick mode as well. If they can deploy a Karn this turn, I think we're probably going to lose the game. Our deck is somewhat weak to Karn. Okay, that's pretty bad news for us. So all these cards in exile, not going to be helping us out a great deal. We can Burning Wish for Pulverize. Pulverizing does come at a very real cost and doesn't actually get rid of the Karn. A Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, we might be losing our hand if they've got an Echo of Eons here. No, they don't. So these are things that we can play this turn. Dark Ritual, that's not nothing. This allows us to kill the Karn, if I'm doing my maths right. So we want our other two colours. This is Underground Sea, I'm pretty sure. So this taps for black to cast this Dark Ritual. Then we can play a Lotus Petal. And we can play this Chrome Mox with no imprint. So then we have 4 mana. So actually no, we can't kill the Karn here, can we? We can Burning Wish for Pulverize. That'll blow up everything here. We can cast Burning Wish. Let's have a look at our sideboard. We can't get into the Warrens going right now. We don't have enough mana to play anything from our sideboard apart from a Thoughtseize. But we can deploy our Wishclaw Talisman and cast a Burning Wish for the Pulverize for next turn. Although we don't have a mountain if we're doing the Pulverize line either. Alright, let's see what we get here. I think we have to get the Pulverize for next turn, as awkward as that is. We'll cast this. Just going to go away in a minute anyway. But we don't have a second mountain. We should have got the Badlands here. I was thinking, oh, we have 4 mana, but we don't have a mana to Grapeshot and kill the Karn here. Which is what I really would have wanted to do. The other option we had here was to find the Grapeshot instead of this Pulverize. But this Pulverize can maybe buy us some time, and then we can do some sort of Echo Lion's Eye Diamonds strategy. An actual competent Storm Pilot might have done that turn very differently. I'd be very surprised if they did exactly what we've done here. So sideboard-wise, I already want to get rid of our Veil of Summers. They're not going to be helping us. And we can have Thoughtseizes and Chain of Vapors in to try and get the Karn beforehand or to bounce if it gets into play. There's a Grim Monolith. If we get the Badlands here, we do get to blow their stuff up, but then what? We lose all of our stuff as well. I think maybe the better play we could have made was to hold the Dark Ritual, just Burning Wish for this Pulverize, and do it off of a Badlands. Now, I don't think we're going to get another turn anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. But we could have at least had the option to sort of reset the game, but it'd be a reset where our opponent has Karn and a Soul Land in play. And we just have 2 lands. Mike's at the Lattice. Yep, so they can just Lattice lock us here. That doesn't stop Pulverize from doing its thing, though, if we have a mountain. But where do we go from there is the next question. But we do need to find a mountain. I'm going to have some pretty large constructs. So we need to hit very specific cards here. Alright, now they're actually getting rid of our mountains. We are just dead here. Alright. Yeah, pretty awkward. I think this is 4 Veil of Summers go out. We get in 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Chain of Vapor. The other thing I'm kind of tempted by here is the Abrupt Decays. Is Galvanic Relay going to be too slow here? I don't think so. I think this is what we want. We're just having a few little answers tucked away in our deck. Now, what would we be blowing up? We'd just be slowing them down. I'm just trying to think what permanents they could have that might jam us up. Like, they're kind of doing their own combo stuff, so they're not going to be having spheres or chalices or anything. So I think we just submit like this. Like, they have Karn, which is a real trump card to what we're doing. So we need to get in underneath that Karn. We'll leave 1 Thoughtseize in the sideboard in case we need to tutor for it. And it cuts cleanly with the 4 Veil of Summers. Alright, we don't need a lot for this to be good. And we have a Brainstorm to find it. So I think we're going to keep this. If we Brainstorm into action here, we're in a good spot. We have enough starting mana here that we can just do our thing, I reckon. Like with pretty much every deck with Lion's Eye Diamond in, it's usually the best card in the deck. Right, so we have options of playing like our stuff out and then cracking a Lion's Eye Diamond so we have more mana in response. Is that something we want to do? Because if that goes wrong, that goes really wrong for us. So if we have 3, 4... So if we want a Mind's Desire from the top of our library, we have to do this before the Brainstorm goes off. So we play out some Lion's Eye Diamonds here, and then we cast this. We're a little bit all in on this Brainstorm here. Maybe this is a mistake, but go hard or go home, right? So we crack 1 Lion's Eye Diamond for blue, and then we have a look. Alright, we have fizzled horribly here, and we don't get to do anything. Right, we'll Thoughtseize our opponent, and then do nothing. Echo of Eons, I don't hate that, to be honest. What would I like to take out here? I think I'll take out the Mox Opal. Alright, that went very poorly for us. We knew that could be a risk. We needed to hit, so we had, what, 3 Echoes, 3 Mind's Desires, that's 6, plus the 8, I think that's 14 hits. A Brainstorm lets us dig a little bit deeper. I don't know, maybe that's a very greedy play. Now our opponent will probably not go for the Echo this turn, because they know that we don't have anything. Alright, let's pass the turn. Right, so they're just going to make Urza Saga tokens and beat us down with those. And that's going to be pretty good, I would imagine. So we have to draw through a Chrome Mox and then we get some fresh looks. If they do an Echo of Eons, would I like this Chrome Mox with a Rite of Flame in play? Or would I want it to hold it in my hand for potential Storm? I think we hold it in our hand. Our opponent's clearly not going to be doing Echo of Eons stuff right now because they've got a nice win condition in play. They don't need to wheel us as a combo deck into a whole new hand. So a lot of this, of playing this deck, is also knowing the maths and what the probabilities are of certain hits and things. If you watch brilliant Storm players like Brian Cook or Tony Scapone, they do the math on the fly and they know exactly what is the right play number-wise and whether or not we should be doing our crack our Lion's Eye Diamond or we just Brainstorm there and have nothing. Alright, a Crystal Vein from our opponent. So that is... okay, Defense Grid is an interesting one. We don't care about the Defense Grid. But it is an artifact and our opponent gets to beat down. We drew an actual real card. Okay. So I think we can Wishclaw and go for a fresh 7. We need to do something because we're dying here. So I think we're going to go. So we're going to do this Rite of Flame. We're going to play this Chrome Mox with no imprint. Not that we could imprint this anyway. And this cracks for a black. We deploy the Talisman. So we go get an Echo here. And we see if we can get things on the move. If there had been a Mind's Desire on top of our library, we would have looked like an absolute god earlier. But that's not the world we live in. So this hand doesn't get us anywhere. So we need to go and find a blue source and cast a Brainstorm here. We don't really need green mana anymore, so the only option we have that has blue anyway is the Underground Sea. We can cast this Brainstorm and hope it gets us somewhere. A Lion's Eye Diamond and a Thoughtseize. Okay, this kind of gets us somewhere. So a lot of these are going back anyway. Play this out. We can crack this for triple blue. We can spin again. And we haven't got anywhere here, right? We play the Mox Opal out. We don't have Metalcraft with it. We can't play a land out. But we have a lot of stuff we can do if we get another turn. I don't think we're getting another turn here. See, one thing you don't actually get a lot of, I find, from legacy content creators is people playing Storm badly. I think you have a lot of people like Tony and Brian who make really good Storm content that is incredibly informative, shows you all the right lines. I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I'm teaching you about the mistakes you can make. So these are both 9/9s and we die. I think it was worth the shot there because we still had a Lion's Eye Diamond and some other action if things went a bit awry. But we set ourselves up in a position where things would go really well for us. And they didn't. That's kind of the maths game. So we had 3 hits. Each of those hits had like 1 in 3, so 14. So each of those hits had a 1 in, I think we were in a 1 in 4 chance, or slightly better than 1 in 4 chance of finding a thing. And, you know, we had the Brainstorm going. It didn't work out for us. But I think I would probably make the same play. Maybe hold off for 1 turn. But it's very unlikely that our opponent makes a turn 1 card. So maybe we're supposed to hold off for 1 turn and then do it. Just so we get slightly deeper. Not that it's really making a difference there, unfortunately. But I think that's definitely a possibility that we could have looked at. Just think about how likely the turn 1 card is. But again, if our opponent's wheeling and stuff, then they can wheel us out of a good hand. And I think they would have done, looking at their hand there. They probably would have wheeled if we'd have kept a 7. They would like, okay, they're pretty close to going off. They're just biding their time getting that land drop in. So I don't think we necessarily play this game optimally, but I don't know how easy it would be to win if you did play it optimally. Alright, let's go to round 2. Right, we're into round 2. So what does our hand do? So on turn 1, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. So we're not ready to go, but we can set up, we can do a brainstorm, see how we feel. This seems like a keep to me. If our opponent doesn't do anything too scary and we get a nice draw, maybe we can do something on turn 1 as well. A Delver of Secrets. So we don't have the most amount of time. We can't just sit here forever. But I've watched good Storm players like Bryant smash through Delver time and time again. So hopefully we could do a similar thing. A Brainstorm. So we're not going to play that out just yet. I think we'll hold up here. I don't think we want to play all our permanents out. I think the old metrics when you're playing a deck that's mostly trying to resolve an ad nauseum is that you want to play your things out. Whereas here, we're trying to generate Storm for something like a Mind's Desire in an ideal world. If our opponent doesn't play a Wasteland, then we'll definitely Brainstorm here. They did not play a Wasteland. They could play, I was going to say, they could play a Bowmasters, but they played a spell here. So this bauble could hopefully, from their perspective, hopefully, give them a better idea what we're playing and what they need to look for. Another Delver. Alright, our opponent wants to get this game over and done with. Fair enough. So I think we want a black source and we want a blue source. So we're going to get an Underground Sea with our Bloodstained Mire in a second. Right, so we're going to fire this Brainstorm at our opponent's end step. This can give us enough mana to go on the following turn. So what does this achieve? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So maybe we'd have to Echo, or we could try and go into... I think they're going to counterspell our Wishclaw Talisman is what's going to happen here. So I have to choose what goes back. So I think it's the Brainstorm, although that can go under the Chrome Mox. We can do that a turn after if we need to. Alright, and the Echo. And then on our turn we'll draw that Echo. So I think we play out Taiga here, we play out 1 Lotus Petal. I'm just working out if we... I think we do play out the other mana here, so that we can use our Mox Opal to pay for days rather than our Petal. So let's... I don't think this is going to resolve. Our opponent only has 2 cards though, so there's a possibility. It did resolve. Okay. So let's cast a Dark Ritual. Let's... I don't really like wheeling our opponent here, but we could just get a Galvanic Relay and have a really big turn next turn. Our opponent does get the Wishclaw Talisman, but what can they realistically do with it? What is Storm Count? Storm Count is 5, so you can get 6 cards for next turn. That's pretty good. We don't have enough for a Mind's Desire. I don't really like wheeling our opponent into a whole new grip. I'll take this Galvanic Relay. Alright, we'll play out this Chrome Mox first, just for Storm. I don't think we want to pitch this Echo to it. I think we're okay with that. Maybe that's wrong. This gives us another card next turn. Alright, let's see what we've pulled off here with this Galvanic Relay. So we got some rituals. We got another ritual. So we got a lot of mana for next turn. We've got an Echo, a Veil, that's pretty handy if we can find... So if we can get a Lion's Eye Diamond or something. Okay, so a Wishclaw can find us a Lion's Eye Diamond next turn with all the mana we're going to have. And we have a Veil to kick things off. So I like our spot next turn actually. So the maximum we can take this turn is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I think is the most we take this turn. If our opponent plays a red source and another lightning bolt. And all these flip. Right, opponent. I don't think our opponent's going to have anything too scary they can find with a Wishclaw Talisman in game 1. They could have something like a Bowmasters, but the Veil of Summer covers that quite nicely. They can go and get a counterspell, but they will give us a Wishclaw Talisman for our turn, which just gives us way more agency to mess with what our opponent's doing. I do wish we put this Echo underneath the Chrome Mox now though. They are doing a Wishclaw Talisman activation. It's a bold play. There's a Wasteland, okay. And there's a Bowmasters. Is that what they went to get? So we take 7 here. So we're almost certainly dead next turn. So this is our moment to shine. So I think we want to get this Bloodstained Mire out of the way first. And then I think we tap this for red and cast a Rite of Flame. Then we cast another Rite of Flame. Then we have What land do we want to get? We definitely want to thin a land out of our deck here to make our wheels better. I guess we get the Bayou here. And this will get us a Dark Ritual. And we can play this Mox Opal out. And keep this one. And we can cast this wheel right now. Or we can cast this one from hand. That's probably slightly better. But I think we want to play this Veil first. A Force of Will. Our opponent has one card in hand. So that could be a Daze. But we can play around a Daze. So how much mana do we actually have here? We don't have enough to go and get... We could go and get a Lion's Eye Diamond here. And then... So 3 mana for this. Takes us down to 4 mana. Then we have 3 mana for this. 2 mana for making green. But then we get to do the Echo. So we can put a Veil of Summer on the stack now. Before we wheel here. So I think we go... Use our red mana for this. And then we will... Use red mana to activate this Wishclaw. We'll go and get a Lion's Eye Diamond here. And this can be our blue mana when we need it. So then we can use one of these red again to Wishclaw Talisman here for the Veil of Summer. Then we can veil our opponent using blue from this. Sorry, green from this. This will draw us a card, but we can't pop that. Okay, so now we have a Mind's Desire that we can't cast, which is unfortunate. So, hold on. 3, 4, 5. No, we're 1 mana shy still. So we play this Lion's Eye Diamond. Crack this for blue. And we will cast this, leaving 1 black, 1 blue in the pool, so 1 of each. So I have all these pings, so they're going to have some big guys. Got to put some abilities on the stack. 3, 4, 5 mana. Let's yield to these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available. So we can Tendrils here. So if we play this Chrome Mox and we imprint, just a Brainstorm is fine here. Then we go 1 red and 1 blue. We go and get Tendrils. I'm always so nervous playing this deck. Alright, then we can Tendrils our opponent here. And that's the ball game, as they say. So that's many damages. Alright, I'm happy with how I've played this one, unless something really weird happens now and we somehow lose. Alright, so we got a game. Whew. So, how are we supposed to beat Delver, is the question. I think our deck is just really pre-boarded against Delver here, right? We've got the Veil of Summers. I don't think we want Abrupt Decays here. They can slow them down a bit, but I don't think that's where we want to be. We just want to do our Galvanic Relays and get them that way. I think we are pre-boarded for Delver. So I think we're going to leave it as is and submit. I've seen good Storm players chewing up Delver non-stop with the Epic Storm. So I have to assume that we're relatively pre-boarded here. Like, our spells having, like Galvanic Relay having Storm, Mind's Desire having Storm, just means that a counter spell doesn't really do it. They need very specific counter spells like Flusterstorm. And Thoughtseize is really awkward against Delver because it can take a turn off the clock for you. Do a cheeky little relay here maybe and keep this. Love to draw another card that we can cast on our turn just to get a slightly bigger relay going. Because Wasteland is something that can get us, I don't think we hang our land out and hope to make it another turn cycle. I think we just play our things out. I guess we could play out the petals first. Another petal. Right, let's play out a petal. Let's play out a petal. Let's play out a petal. Play out a Volcanic Island. Do we just want to... I think we just want to do a little relay here. Let's just get some cards going. Lion's Eye Diamond, Veil of Summer, Mind's Desire, Wishclaw Talisman. Okay, so we can cast a Mind's Desire next turn, potentially. We just need one more bit of mana. It won't be a very large Mind's Desire, unfortunately. Alright, nothing pre-combat, they're just going to bash. Okay. There's a Wasteland. I suspect that's going to take out our Volcanic Island. So our dreams of casting this Mind's Desire are Falling by the Wayside, a Veil of Summer. So we have to cast these spells or lose them. So here comes the Lion's Eye Diamond. Now is the question. Are we supposed to try and play this Wishclaw Talisman by getting rid of our hand here? Or are we just supposed to leave these cards in exile? That's very sad, isn't it? I don't think it's worth trading our hand for the Wishclaw Talisman by using the Lion's Eye Diamond. Let me just do some maths. So we sack this for 3 to play this and activate it once for another Lion's Eye Diamond. And then what? We have 4 mana. Doesn't really get us anywhere. No, I think we have to pass. Yuck. Alright. It seems bad. A Volcanic Island from our opponent. A counterbalance, you said. That's not a fun one for us. Maybe we're supposed to have the Abrupt Decays in to beat counterbalance now. It's not the most common thing you see in Dalvers, but it's certainly not unexpected. Okay. A Bloodstained Mire. So we just have to play our land out and bide our time. We're not getting attacked for a lot, so we need to draw up to a nice full hand and then go later on when the time is right. We have these Veil of Summers, and if the counterbalance hits the Veil, it means all of our 0 and 2 drops, which is most of our deck, is fine. So there is that. And if the Veil of Summer does succeed, then we Veil of Summer and it doesn't matter what the counterbalance does. But we will need some more manas here. We can't just F6 the turn because our opponent might play a Thoughtseize that might encourage us to get a Taiga out of our deck and cast a Veil of Summer. I believe it is the Taiga here that we want. Because we want the green for the Veil of Summer and our hand is full of red cards. So I think that's a relatively sound conclusion there. We do have a Lotus Petal for 1 mana of any colour later on. We're not going to burn that on a Veil of Summer though, because we need the amount of mana to do something in this game. Alright, just 1. So we're not under a lot of pressure, but our opponent is obviously sculpting their hand. Do we play out our Bayou into potential wastelands? I think we probably do. Do we cast this Burning Wish? If so, what will we find with it? I'm not convinced by a lot. We don't need any of them right now. Like, we could try and Burning Wish for Thoughtseize, but this is kind of an important piece of our payoff. We don't have any, like, fast mana that we can shoot for there. I think we pass. And we can make a very small amount of goblins. Not going to get us anywhere. If our opponent's only attacking us for 1, I'm more than happy to take 1 damage a turn for a while. An Echo of Eons. That's something. Are we testing the water with this Echo? We can Echo with 2 floating if this resolves. Is that worth doing here? With a Veil of Summer going? Let's try a Veil and see what this does. I'm casting a Brainstorm. So we could try another Veil now. Have 1 floating and 2 draws. But maybe we're supposed to crack our Lion's Eye Diamond as well to make sure we have the blue mana to follow up with. We know there's a 1 drop on top, so maybe we're supposed to do it instead of the in response to the Brainstorm. So I think we let this go, and then next turn, yeah, so what we're doing is, they've got Hydroblast, sure. So we're going to just try the same thing next turn. So we could have maybe fired off a Veil of Summer in response to the Brainstorm or the Surveil trigger. But I think we just wait a turn, get another card deeper into our deck, and Veil of Summer next turn. I think that's the better play there. Again, we're still only being attacked for 1, but the more full our opponent's grip is, the more I want to Echo of Eons after a Veil of Summer. So we're going to lose our Bayou here. That is a pity. A Delver, 4 cards in our opponent's hand. We don't have a Tropical Island here for any Veil of Summer shenanigans with our Brainstorm. So we're just going to go get the Taiga here. And we're going to try this again. Did they stack another 2 on top? Another 1 on top? A Ponder was revealed. Do we think it's alright to go now? Does it get better from here? So a lot of our rituals aren't going to work under this counterbalance. So I think we just take another turn off. Not ideal. So we're going to see this Ponder. Opponent gets to... So what they got? Creature. Okay, so this is going to give them the Delirium when the Ponder resolves. So we're going to have Creature, Instant, Land, and Sorcery. So we're going to get hit for 6 this turn. So potentially die next turn if they have a Lightning Bolt still. Whether or not they're still going to have a Lightning Bolt in their deck, I'm not sure. But they probably have, like, some of them, but not that many. Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty bad for us. I think we probably have to go next turn and hope for the best. A Chrome Mox. This is a reasonable tester, I think. Let's try this out. A Scalding Tarn. Okay. Understood. Let's spin that wheel. So we know they don't have a 6 on top, but they might have a counterspell in hand. Because they haven't had to use any, they've just been counterbalancing us. Right, there's a Force of Will. What are our outs at this point? I don't think we have any. I think we'll concede and we're going to trim down on our Echo of Eons counts in favour of 2 Abrupt Decays for these counterbalances. And then we'll submit. Alright, our opening hand needs to find a bit of payoff, but we can answer the counterbalance. So these are the hands that I never know if you're supposed to keep. Brainstorm is a very powerful card that can do a lot of work for us. I think we do keep this. And I think we begin the game with our Underground Sea in play. And if our opponent tries to wasteland us, we will brainstorm in response. But I don't think we're brainstorming on turn 1 here. Unless we have to. A Mishra's Bauble, an Underground Sea, and a Ponder. Okay, so we're not getting wastelanded. So we're incentivized to brainstorm in the next turn cycle before they play their second land because of Bowmasters. But we have a decent amount of mana in hand. We can do a nice little relay. They shuffled off a Ponder, which is something, I guess, for us. So they're going to have a Mishra's Bauble coming in. A Lotus Petal. So I think we're incentivized to cast this Brainstorm here. Okay, so we're not doing anything for a while. Understood. Yikes. Because it doesn't matter too much what we put on top here. I think we'll play out 1 Lotus Petal in case we... Do we even care if we get Thoughtseize here? I don't think we do. That means I don't think we're playing out the land this turn either. We can play it out next turn. Okay, so we need to draw through. Like, we could always play a land and maybe try and... Or we can play the Petal and use the Veil to cycle to get through this Brainstorm pile. But I think we just have to draw through it naturally. Okay, we have the answer for the counterbalance, so that's something. Play those Badlands. We're going to have to play out a Lotus Petal at some point to try and get this counterbalance going. Okay. That's pretty bad news. At the moment, the only way of destroying counterbalance is using our Lotus Petals. Because we don't have any access to green mana. I guess we could try a Chrome Mox. But then we'd have to imprint Veil of Summer, and that doesn't feel great either. Alright, let's try a Lotus Petal again. You got another land on top? They do. Alright. Maybe I'm being a bit angsty and I should just wait to try and draw a fetch land instead of throwing away those Lotus Petals. But feels like we are trying to draw into a payoff spell as well as mana for our Abrupt Decay. They're only hitting us for 1, but they got a lot of mana to work with. And if they're not playing stuff at the board, that's probably bad news for us. Alright, we'll pass a turn. We still have 2 black sources, so we can survive 1 wasteland. I'm just going to take 1 here. There's a wasteland. Okay. Are they going to hold up a hardcast Force of Will, or are they going to wasteland us? I think they're going to hold up hardcast Force of Will and then wasteland us in the end step. That's what I think they're actually going to do. Let's try a Chrome Mox so we can at least get this Abrupt Decay down. Nope, I guess not. Yikes. So now they're going to wasteland us at the end step, probably taking us off of the red mana. No, they're not going to wasteland us. I suppose they don't know if they got another... Okay, they can just wasteland both of our lands here. Okay, opponents. A little bit rude. And now they're holding up Force of Will. Alright, once more feeling. Can we play a 0-drop into their counterbalance? Are they going to blind flip us again? They are. We are getting blind flipped all over the place here. I think the magic gods in the sky do not want us to win this game. Our Brainstorm was pretty bad. And our opponent has blind flipped 4 times now. Yeah, both the Lotus Petals and both the Chrome Moxes were countered by the counterbalance. Yeah, so they blind flipped 4 times there. Alright, we have a Bloodstained Mire. Now this is just to get through the first hurdle of the counterbalance. We've still got to deal with the rest of their deck. So what lands do we have? We've got a Taiga, a Bayou, and a Volk. So the Volk doesn't cast either half of the Abrupt Decay, so we're definitely not getting that one. So the Taiga and the Bayou. Our opponent is casting a Meltdown just to scry with their Channeler. 1 card on top, sure. Alright. Found the Bayou. Okay, so we're going to play out our Bayou, and we're going to hold up this Abrupt Decay. And then try and Abrupt Decay it in our opponent's end step, or if they wasteland us. We want them to have the false security of this counterbalance. And maybe they'll keep something bad on top because they know it's an important number, like a 0, for example. We definitely don't want to hit it now because it will give our opponent's Dragon Raider Channeler Delirium. So it will cost us damage. So we wait until the end step, then we blow it up, then we untap, and... Alright, so now we have to go. Let's crack this. So this has to be the Taiga. This is our last chance to cast Abrupt Decay. So we want black and green mana. Say goodbye to counterbalance. So now them forcing our hand means that they will attack us for 3 this turn. They revealed the days. I'm not sure why they did that. Alright, so we take 3 here. Now what are we doing? So we have 1, 2, 4 mana. 4 red mana. We could get rid of this. That doesn't really do us any good. Yikes. We know there's a daze on top. So I think I'm playing out my Mox Opal. This does mean that they can then get the Meltdown instead. So it's kind of down if you do, down if you don't, really. So we do need another mana source to get things going. I don't think there's any point of Burning Wishing. Do we have anything worth Burning Wishing for here? 2, 4. Like, this doesn't go anywhere. We do need more mana sources. And surely our opponent can't have another Meltdown. So our opponent might... No, they didn't put anything on top of their library with the Mystic Sanctuary. I assume they have a Mystic Sanctuary. They might not have one because of the colour commitments of their deck and the fact they're already running Wastelands. A Brainstorm we can't cast. Okay. We might have to do our Rite of Flame into Burning Wish Grapeshot soon, just to stay alive, which is not really how I drew this one up. So the only land we have left in our deck is a Volcanic Island. Are we Rite of Flaming to try and get rid of this? Or do we wait one more turn? If we wait one more turn, we have to discard a card. Do we care about discarding a card? What do we get if we wait one more turn? Not a lot out of it. We can't beat the days we know they have in hand, which is another issue. I think we have to pass here and maybe try and get a redraw with the Veil. We can also put the Echo into the graveyard by discarding here. An Orcish Bowmasters. So we have to Veil of Summer here or we die. And we know they have a daze, so they will just daze this and we die. Yep. So this will ping us for 1 and they have exactly 5 damage here. So we're dead as soon as this ping resolves. Pretty much. Alright, yep. They did blind flip 4 times in a row off the counterbalance. So I can't feel too upset about that. I'm definitely bad at playing this deck. But that was some pretty gross variance against us there. Okay, let's go to round 3 and see if we can pick up a match win. We are on the play. Okay, we have Mire, Mox, Petal, Mox, Ritual, Relay. That seems like a pretty good turn 1. Opponent's mulligan to 5 card. This is Crusherbot BG. We've played some of their decks on the channel a few times. They're a pretty interesting brewer. They spent a while on Mono White Hammer Time, and we played their Mono Red Artifact Burn deck recently as well, which is pretty cool. So, this wants to get us red or black mana. Do we want just red-black mana here? Just get Badlands. Or do you want Taiga? I don't think we're going to need to cast the Veil necessarily if our opponent's mulliganing that deep. I think we need to... Right, I think we start playing out some artifacts here. Our opponent is F6 through his turn. So we can imprint this with Rite of Flame, or we can print this with Dark Ritual. I think it's better to imprint it with Rite of Flame because we have more use for red mana, but putting Rite of Flame in the graveyard is better for us. So I think we imprint the Dark Ritual here just so we can keep the Rite of Flame in the graveyard. So this wants to get us a red source. Probably wants to be a Volcanic here. So we've already got black over here. So we do this. This casts us... I think we do cast this Rite of Flame here. Just to get more storm going. And then we cast the Relay for 5. Right, we got a Wish, a Talisman, a Relay, and a Ritual and a land. So we can do another Relay next turn. But is that getting us anywhere? Our opponent mulliganed quite aggressively. So their deck's probably going to be doing something on the broken side. You don't mulligan to 4 if we're just playing good lands, good spells sort of deck. Retrofit's Foundry. Okay, they might be on that deck of theirs we played the other day. Okay. So what do we want here? I think the easiest thing to do here is cast this Dark Ritual. Then we play out this land. And then we want a Wishclaw Talisman in play, I think, here. So how much mana? We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana potentially. So we can cast all of these. That seems like a good thing to do. Let's play this Wishclaw. Let's tap this one for red. We could go and get a wheel and spin right now. So if we... So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana here. So if we pay 1 to get a Lion's Eye Diamond, So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So that's not enough to do Burning Wish into Mind's Desire. But we could Echo this turn. And that's probably quite good. So if we tap this, I guess we don't need to tap this yet, do we? So we can tap this for red, cast a Burning Wish. We get the Echo here. Then we tap this for, doesn't really matter, does it? We just need to make sure that we tap this before we tap our petal. So we go and get ourselves a Lion's Eye Diamond. This deck is very stressful to play for me. And then we crack this for triple blue. Get our Echo on the go. Draw some cards. We still have this relay up top as well. So we can play this, play this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. So we could Brainstorm and then relay. So I think we tap this for blue and Brainstorm. Not a great selection, truth be told. So we'll put back a land and a Veil, I guess. And we'll cast this. So we're going to get a lot of spells here. Our opponent does have a Wishclaw Talisman now, though. Alright. So they might just stick on the Saga beatdown plan, because if they Wishclaw Talisman, they give us the Wishclaw Talisman. And that's a very dangerous thing to do. Look at our bounty of spells. A Lion's Eye Diamond, you say? I think we can play out this Chrome Mox and imprint this Veil of Summer. I don't think that's a card we're going to need right now. So we have enough mana to put a Mind's Desire on the stack, I believe. Tap this for blue. Play out this Mox. And keep this one. Then we want to play the LED out last, I think. So we'll play out an Underground Sea here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we can just peer into the abyss ourselves here, and that's going to be probably better than a Mind's Desire. Although, does the crowd want to see Mind's Desire? I think we just peer into the abyss. I think that's the smart thing to do here. So I think we play this one out. Then we play this one out. Then we hold priority. Cast this. Sacrifice this for black. And this for black. Say okay. Go and get the peer into the abyss. Target ourselves with peer into the abyss. Alright, let's scoop in because we're going to draw half our deck and we don't need much to play before we can then use this Burning Wish to get a Tendrils kill. Alright, we managed to navigate our way through that one okay. Alright, so game 2. How is that going to fare for us? So when I played their deck, it was Leyline, Cage, Abrade, stuff like that. So we don't want the Veils. So what do we get instead? Leyline, Cage, Veil. They have Pyroblast as well, which means we're probably supposed to trim down on Echoes, although what are we fitting in? Maybe we brought in some Abrupt Decays and some Thoughtseize here, or Chain of Vapors. Thoughtseizes or Chain of Vapor. We can have Veil of Summers just for Pyroblasts. I don't think that's good enough. Sure, we'll try some Chain of Vapors. I think this hand is okay. 2 mana, play this. We have 4 mana. Alright. We're going to have a few turns of this game as well. Our opponent can't play anything scary like Null Rod because their deck is quite artifact centric. I really struggle to win playing our opponent's deck, but they 5-0'd a thing. So it's the classic. Playing your own deck, you're going to be better than other random people trying to play it for the first time. So I think we're supposed to... Are we supposed to Chrome Mox here? I think we do that next turn. We Chrome Mox, putting a Brainstorm underneath it so that we can Brainstorm and use our fetch land. Then we'll also have more idea of what we're trying to put back and stuff. We might want to go Damping Sphere. That wasn't in the thing. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that player has cast this turn. Alright. A little bit rude. So we can still do the shuffle here. Because you play a Chrome Mox here. And now I think we're imprinting the Mind's Desire. And our opponent's turn we can Brainstorm. Now we can Burning Wish for Pulverize, but we need somewhere to go after that. A Galvanic Blast. To the dome. Damping Sphere. Very rude. Yeah, so now we can do a 1 mana Brainstorm and shuffle away. But our opponent does have a Wasteland. So that kind of makes that a little bit awkward. Let's cast a Brainstorm. Double Wishclaw Talisman. What does that do for us? I don't think we want 2 Wishclaw Talismans. Right. We'll put Bayou and a Wishclaw back. And then we'll shuffle. It's kind of awkward shuffling here because our opponent has a wasteland. Yeah, that is an awkward one. Are we just supposed to draw through them? I guess we can draw one Wishclaw and at least put that down. Okay, so we're going to get a black source to cast this Wishclaw Talisman. Are we casting the Wishclaw Talisman, or are we just getting a red source here? What is the worst source right now? I think it's a Taiga, isn't it? That's the one we care about getting wastelanded least. So we'll get a Taiga, and then we'll cast this Burning Wish and get ourselves a Pulverize. So when we are ready, as long as we have 2 mountains, we can Pulverize all their board. We could do that right now, but if we crack the fetch, they probably wasteland the Taiga here. And then we don't get to do that. Interesting. Yeah, this is really unpleasant. So this is 9 damage. So we need to cast this Pulverize next turn, but we might not be able to because of their wasteland. Because they can use their Mox Opal to make a token and hold up their wasteland. Get rid of our Taiga, and then we're kind of stuffed. I suppose Damping Sphere is pretty unbeatable for the Mississippi River Creative Technique deck, because all of their lands would just tap for a single colour, so they'd never be able to put their spell in the stack. So it's just a hard lock on the game immediately. Pretty funny. Right. Are we getting wastelanded? Surely we're getting wastelanded here. We know we have a Pulverize. So they're getting one more damage in. They still got their wasteland up. There it goes. So we now need to draw a mountain. Yikes. Fetch land? Not a fetch land. How do we win this game? How do we win this game? If we Brainstorm... No, I don't think we have an out here. So we could have tried to do the Pulverize last turn. They would have wastelanded us in response, so we couldn't Pulverize, which would have meant they wouldn't have an Urza Saga token there. So they'd be 1 turn behind where they are. And we still wouldn't be able to Pulverize, and we'd still probably lose the game. Yeah, I don't think that changes the outcome. I think it gives us one more draw. Alright. So, do we want a Thoughtseize to try and mess with our opponent a little bit? No, I think we can just... We've got the Chain of Vapors and we've got the Abrupt Decays. That's plenty of cards. Better to have stuff that gets out of play than trying to nab it in the right time. So we have a lot of mana, but we don't have anywhere to go with it. I think we need to get a payoff spell somewhere. That's all payoff spells, but nothing... Okay, I think we can do better than this. This looks like it's going to be a good one, but we have to do the maths. So we're going to have 5 cards here. So we can... If we ship... So we can go 1 mana... We can play a Wishclaw Talisman on turn 1. And then what? Then where do we go? I think we keep. We get rid of the Mind's Desire. And probably the Chrome Mox. I don't know if we are supposed to put this Wishclaw Talisman into play straight away. Our opponent is also on 5 cards. So if we put the Wishclaw Talisman into play, we don't want to pop it straight away. It just sits in place. That costs us a Dark Ritual to do that. But it does make our follow-up draws better. So I think we want a Badlands here, looking at our hand. We'll play this one out. Our opponent's not going to be playing Meltdown in their artifact-centric deck. We're playing out the Mox in case our opponent manages to Damping Sphere on turn 1, using a bunch of 0 drops and stuff. Okay, a Retrofitter's Foundry, and an Ornithopter. A Dark Ritual. So this is 3 mana. Then we go down to 2 mana. So we can tutor for a 2-drop. That doesn't really get us anywhere. We have to pass. Need some more resources. Yep, so they do the Retrofitters, changing their Ornithopter into a Construct token. Pretty good. There is a Saga. So that's the best card in their deck, in my opinion. When I played the deck, most of the victories came via Saga. But that's not a surprise, that card is top tier. A Damping Sphere. Okay. A little bit rude. So this costs 3 mana. We go down to 2 mana. So we've got 4 mana here. This takes us down to 3 mana, but any spells we cast cost 3. So that doesn't really get us anywhere. We just have to pass. But we're under a lot of pressure. So how big is their construct going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a single artifact will be lethal. A Chain of Vapor. If we Chain of Vapor the Damping Sphere, where do we go from there? We have 3 mana. We're kind of back to the same place again. I think we have to hope they don't hit an artifact. That's pretty sketchy in their artifact deck. Or they can hit a soul land and make a servo. That would be lethal as well. Okay, just tapping that. Is that going to be a Pithing Needle on Bloodstained Mire? Why would you name the Bloodstained Mire? Let's take one on this up to here. A Retrofit's Foundry. Okay, so didn't make another guy. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we do have to act here. So we crack this. We get a blue source. A volcanic works here. So if we bounce the Damping Sphere, our opponent just makes a Retrofit. So we have to bounce this construct to stay alive. Yeah, we're just getting whooped. Yikes. Our opponent can copy this and bounce our Wishclaw, but then we can bounce their Damping Sphere, which they can then replay, potentially. Okay. Are we bouncing their Damping Sphere by sacrificing... They haven't played a land. Let's bounce their Damping Sphere here. So if we draw an Echo of Eons or a Lion's Eye Diamond, we might be able to win next turn. Because we can Dark Ritual into Wishclaw Talisman. Have I got a second land here? No. Okay, so we're live to draw something to win the game. A Verdant Catacombs, you say. So we have 1 mana, 2 mana. This is going to be a 4/4, so it's going to kill us. So 4 mana, we go down to 3 mana. We can Burning Wish and blow up the world and start the game from scratch. But we won't have any mountains left in our deck if we do that. But it keeps us alive. Wait, can we Burning Wish here? We only have 1 red source. No, that's fine, that's fine. Alright, it's ugly, but here we are. So we have to go mountains, so that's a Taiga. So we go black, Dark Ritual, Wishclaw Talisman. No, wait, this still doesn't work. We're 1 mana shy, right? Yeah, we're still 1 mana shy. Yeah, because we needed to chain this into the thing. Yeah, we're 1 mana shy because this doesn't tap. Yeah, we're dead. Yikes. We are having a pretty rough go with the deck today. It's not an easy deck to play, and I'm struggling. But we're going to keep going. I reckon we can get a match win. I normally tend to go about 2-3 when I play this sort of Storm deck on the channel. But the deck is obviously a lot better than that, but it's just really hard to play. Okay, let's put some Mind's Desire on the stack on turn 1. So we go Rite of Flame into this, which goes and finds us the Mind's Desire. We pop both of these first. So that's a Mind's Desire for 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that enough? I don't know. But it's a thing we get to try and do. Prismatic Vista. So this is probably some sort of slower control deck for the most part. That tends to be what Vista is. Getting green mana. Delighted Halfling. This could be Bant control. Be my guess. A Rite of Flame. Are we supposed to go now? A single other mana source in our deck makes this really good. Because we get to do the Rite of Flames first. Are we supposed to try and wait for that? I think we can wait for that. If we can just find 1 more mana source, and our deck is full of mana sources, then we get an additional 2 spells potentially in our deck then. I guess, yeah, if it's a mana source that's a spell, then it's 2 spells. If it's a land, then we cast both Rite of Flame, so it's 2. It could be 3 if it's a petal rather than a... Or if it's a petal or a mox, then it's 3 extra spells. Now, our Mind's Desire does have to resolve. Which means... Well, sorry, our Wishclaw Talisman has to resolve. But we don't have to super commit. We can Dark Ritual and cast Wishclaw. If it doesn't resolve, then we don't play our other things out. There's a possibility our opponent isn't a blue deck. I'm skeptical, because they've got a Yorion. So they're either blue or they're white. I suspect they are just full-on Bant. Possibly Dark Bant, or Hot Bant, or full 5-colour even. But they seem to have... I'm assuming they're going to have the core shell of Delighted Halfling into Uro, into Making Me Sad. A Savannah, okay. Okay, we've got to read it here. When this deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life rounded up. Okay, our opponent's on a spicy one here. Partner with Gorm the Great. I don't know what that means. When this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Gorm the Great into their hand from their library. Okay. What's Gorm the Great? Gorm the Great must be blocked if able, and must be blocked by 2 or more creatures if able. We got some spice. I think we're going to go for it, because I don't understand what's happening, and our opponent isn't showing us blue cards here, so... Right, we drew the Volcanic. So we want a black source here. I think we just want the Bayou. So this will cast us a Dirt Ritual. Okay, our opponent's F6 over there. Let's cast this. Let's cast this. Let's cast this. And this. And we'll hold priority. We will pay 1 here. Crack this for triple blue. Crack this for triple blue. 6. We could have gone for a Peer into the Abyss line, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we could have done a Peer into the Abyss. We came here to cast Mind's Desire. So let's use 2 red mana and then some blue mana. Let's see what we get. A Mox. Yeah, I think it was deterministic if we get the... Or almost deterministic if we get the... Okay. Not the most impressive one here. So Storm is 7, 8, 9. So we have how much mana floating? So we play this out. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So not actually enough here to Burning Wish, right? We need 6 mana. Okay, we'll cast this Brainstorm. We've already played land this turn. This should give us enough mana now because it will turn on Metalcraft. So we got 4 mana here and we got mana here. So we can go black mana and we cast this. We get Tendrils of Agony. Point is our opponent's face. And we win the game. Alright. We made that slightly more difficult than it had to be. But all roads led to Rome there, I think. We could have gotten lucky. I was watching a Brian Cook video on pretty much this deck. It might be the same list even. And he was saying that, statistically speaking, a Mind's Desire for 6 should be good to win the game. And we had a Mind's Desire for 6, and we want to cast the newly unbanned shiny card, so there we are. Alright, let's go to game 2. I have no idea what our opponent is playing. I'm guessing it's like a junk. So a black, white, green. Or Abzan, I suppose, what they call it. Showing my age there. But yeah, we used to call it junk back in the day, those colour combinations. Anyway, so it's an Abzan deck with stuff. So maybe we're going to be getting discarded, so Veil is good. But maybe we want to get rid of some permanents, like Deafening Silence. So I think we're probably just looking at Chains and Abrupt Decays. I think we can probably survive getting discarded a little bit, but we're not going to survive getting Deafening Silenced or whatever. So we're going to try it like this. This gives us a mini relay on turn 1, but we have these 2 Dead Mind's Desires. I think we can do better. This hand does not look better. Okay. So we keep this. We get rid of 2 of the wishes here. And we can spin the wheel if our opponent doesn't have Graveyard Hate on turn 1. They haven't shown us any blue cards yet. So we could go Badlands, Rite of Flame. I think we want the Chrome Mox in play for Metalcraft purposes here. And we want the Rite of Flame in the graveyard. Or, actually no, maybe we want this here. Yeah, I think we want this under there actually. And then we go, let's cast this Burning Wish. There's an Echo. So if our opponent has a Mindbreak Trap, they can counterspell our Echo with it. Do I think they have a Mindbreak Trap? If we wait another turn, we can get hit by discard. But if we play out the lines like Diamond, it can't be discarded. But they could Bowmasters us next turn. I think we have to try it out now. I'm surprised they're not F6 through the turn though. Alright, so let's try a wheel here. Your Mindbreak Trap over there, opponent? Or are they going to surprise us with some blue mana? Veil of Summer. Okay. So we have to win with a Grapeshot here. If we were going to try and win this turn. So we can't get Metalcraft. So I think we're just passing the turn here. Veil of Summer is interesting. It makes sense. It stops our easiest route to victory in Tendrils. Forces us to get Massive Storm. Kataki War's Wage. This will pay for itself because Metalcraft is worth having if we're playing all our spells in one turn. Chain of Vapor, that's not really the one we care about. Are we playing out a Wishclaw right now? I don't think so. We could Brainstorm right now and see if that finds us anything to let us go now. On a blue source, that's the only one we can fetch with this. Let's have a little Brainstorm and see what we're working with. Okay, we can do some more spinning. So if we put back the Decay and the Brainstorm, we have Rite of Flame, Petal, Mox Opal. I think we have enough here. Right, let's Rite of Flame. And Rite of Flame again. Then we'll play this Lotus Petal out. We'll play this Mox Opal out. And we'll tap this for black. We could bounce our stuff to generate Storm here. So for 1 blue mana, we can bounce all 3 of these and replay them all. That will take us up to Lethal Storm. And that will cost us, so we'll have 4, 5, 6 mana available. So that's not quite enough to Wishclaw Talisman. No, okay. I think we're just going to play the Wishclaw Talisman. If we bounce these 2 permanents and replay them, that gives us +1 mana. So that'll take us up to 5 mana. No, I think we're fine here. So we can do a big relay turn, or we can go for a wheel here. I kind of want to go for a wheel given this Kataki in play. Oh my god, we got the wrong spell. Whoops. Oh wow, we have biffed that one in a big way, haven't we? Yikes. Whoopsie daisy, I would say. Right, so we're going to... Oh my god, what have we done here? Oh, that's so embarrassing. I was talking about the wheel and I clicked the wheel instead of the LED. We could bounce this back to our hand. Oh, jeez. What am I... This deck's hard to play, especially when you play like an absolute clown. So they can just activate this in response if they want to. Yeah, we had the wheel there. And we just decided to embarrass ourselves. Jeez. Well, we deserve to lose this game. They're paying for the Wishclaw. Interesting. Like, I think you either let it die, or you activate it then, right? Give her runes. Okay. Like, this matchup should be okay for us. Delighted Halfling. If we didn't play like a clown, maybe it would be. Okay, so... We're not really paying for the Lotus Petal here, are we? I think this makes a blue to Chain of Vapor the Talisman here. Oh, another mistake. We're supposed to tap on Mox first. So it pays for itself. They're not going to copy this because they might bounce our Chrome Mox, but that would help us. They're bouncing our Mox Opal. No, they're not bouncing our Mox Opal. They're just saying no to that. We're supposed to pay to keep this, but we messed up again. I've just got myself in a horrible situation. Entirely of my own fault. I find this deck so stressful to play. Okay, so we'll deploy the Wishclaw. Next turn, I don't think we can sacrifice our Wishclaw after we lose control of it. But maybe we can. We'll find out in a second. Once upon a time. Like, we might still win this game. But we set ourselves back at least 2 turns from what we were trying to accomplish. We did have the option of Chain of Vaporing our opponent's Kataki. Alright, is this going to be a Wasteland and then Samwise? Sylvan Library, sure. Our plan is to do something really good this turn. Maybe we'll even get the right spell. Could happen. So on our upkeep, we're going to activate our Wishclaw. Because you can activate it in this turn. We'll go and get a Lion's Eye Diamond. We can't sacrifice it because we don't own it. Okay, that makes sense. We'll say no to this. I'd rather have 2 mana floating. Draw a card. It's another Wishclaw Talisman. Is that better in play? I think it probably is better in play. So we'll have no mana floating after a wheel here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we have a Lotus Petal that we can play. Storm count is 4. Have a Lion's Eye Diamond. So we can spin around again. We have another land here, so we've actually made a slight profit on mana. I think we want the Taiga here. And then we'll spin this into an Echo. It's just a case of do we want to play out these Chrome Moxes or not. So we're going to get an Echo here. So we can either play out our Chrome Moxes or not. What does that do for us? We can't imprint Wishclaw because this is an artifact. So if we play out the Chrome Mox here, it gives us Metalcraft. It takes some slightly less savoury draws out. I think we do play these out. Gives us more storm count. Say no to this. Play this other Mox. Say no to this. Crap for triple blue. Spin the wheel. Oh no, what is this? Is this going to be an Echo? A Veil of Summer. That's what they tried last time. That was quite effective. In theory. Sure. So we're not winning with Tendrils this turn. But hopefully we can do something else. Okay. So what does our hand do here? We play this out. We can do a massive relay. How much mana have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we had a Tendrils, we can't win with Tendrils actually, can we? So we could do a big relay. Wait, can we do a big relay here? Because this mana doesn't actually tap right now. So this only gives us 3. We could Brainstorm looking for some help. I think that's what we're doing. Okay, we found some help. So put these 2 back. So put out the Petal. Put out the Mox. Put out the Mox for red. Cast Rite of Flame. Storm count is 14. Cast this. Storm count is 15. So now we can Grapeshot our opponent to death. So we go Burning Wish, hold priority. We don't even need to hold priority actually, do we? We don't even need to hold priority here. We just have the Grapeshot. I would not necessarily say this has been the cleanest game, but I think we're about to put a W on the board, which is something. So we go and get our Grapeshot. We pointless Grapeshot our opponent, and we same targets for everything. We made ourselves have to work for that one a bit more than we should have done. Oh, when I play this deck, I'm always worried about going to time because it takes me so long to work out what I'm doing that when I get into certain situations there, I was just like, oh, I'll click the... Oh, I need to get the Echo, and then... Ugh. All right. Let's go to the final round, see if we can get a 2-3 and embarrass ourselves a little bit less, hopefully. Our hand gives us a little value relay. I think we keep this. A Bloodstained Mire from our opponent there. Okay, so we want to play out a land here. Which one do we not care about getting smashed the most? Probably the Bayou, but we want the red mana here. We could try a Brainstorm. But if we miss on land... if we miss on another mana source, we don't get to relay this turn. But we only have to hit a coloured card, so I think this is worth doing. Let's cast a Brainstorm. Wowzers, trousers. Not only did we miss, we missed in a big way. So we just have to pass here. A swamp. Are we getting reanimated in the heart? Just a Douthie. A Chalice of the Void for 1. That's fine. 1 isn't our big number. Okay, so I think we get... It needs to be a black source. Is it a black-green source? We're not casting the Veil of Summer. So I think it needs to just be an Underground Sea is the best thing we have here. Or is it the... No, it's the Underground Sea. We might want double blue later on for a Mind's Desire, perhaps. So we'll play out this Lotus Petal. That's Chrome Mox, no imprint. That's Chrome Mox, no imprint. We're just turning this into a build your own bauble. That's what the Chrome Mox is there. Build your own bauble. Because it's going to give us a Galvanic Relay. And an extra card on our Galvanic Relay by playing it out, so it's just a card. So what do we have here? Mind's Desire that we can cast next turn. Sign me up. A Mind's Desire for 4, plus whatever we get off the top of our library. Well, we can also play the Veil of Summer as well. It'll get countered by the Chalice, but it's still going to exist. Collective Brutality. They're going to duress us. Doesn't do anything, I'm afraid. We drained life for 2 as well. By discarding an Ancient 2. Let's see what we draw. A Rite of Flame. So we can play out our Taiga here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. So I think we just want to get our biggest storm that we can get. So we'll Veil of Summer into the Chalice. We cast this for red into the Chalice. Play out 0-drop. Play out 0-drop. Play out this for triple blue. Cast this Mind's Desire. Let's see what we get. A Brainstorm that we can't cast. A Wishclaw Talisman we can definitely do some stuff with. And then just a lot of lands as it turns out. Interesting. So I guess we're casting this Wishclaw Talisman. And then we're casting this Wishclaw Talisman. We can get Lion's Eye Diamond. Then we get Burning Wish. And we're still not enough mana there. If we get Lion's Eye Diamond, and the second one gets us... What does the second one get us? Another Lion's Eye Diamond. Then where are we? We're nowhere. I don't really want these cards in our graveyard, so we're not going to cast them now. 3, 4... We could relay this turn, do a big relay, or next turn we could untap with all of our mana and double Wishclaw. Our opponent didn't do anything last turn, really, so I think we are okay to just have a turn where we try and do our thing with loads of mana available. It's going to be a Shouldered, a Sign in Blood. Don't see a Sign in Blood every day. What is this? Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. A dark ritual that we can't cast. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So we can wheel with a bunch of mana floating. Just trying to think if there's a cleaner line to doing stuff here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of these can become a Lion's Eye Diamond. So that goes up to 8 mana. So we can then do that, and then I think we draw more cards if we just wish here. Sorry, if we just wheel here. So I think we'll crack this for a Lion's Eye Diamond. Crack this for an Echo of Eons. Play this out. Triple blue, cast its Echo. We've got a new hand of cards here, and a Mind's Desire that we can't quite cast. Interesting. We can do a big Galvanic Relay. We can do another Echo. We have 1 more land in our deck we can fish out here, right? No, 2 more lands. We get the Badlands here. Tap this for blue. Could we front side this? I don't think we can. We could front side it. We'll keep this Mox Opal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could front side the Echo and have another Echo ready to go. Or we could Mind's Desire for 4 and then Echo. That seems pretty profitable. So blue. Let's do a little Mind's Desire, and then we can draw a bunch more cards in a second. Okay, Storm count is 5. So we can play out this Lotus Petal. Okay, our opponent's scooping here. I think that's slightly premature, but I think we are going to win this game. But we're going to have to wheel again. But we have... Oh, sorry, this is a Mind's Desire, sorry. I thought this was an Echo of Eons. Yeah, so the Mind's Desire we'll play a bunch of spells and Mind's Desire again, and we should be alright. Alright, our opponent is a black deck with chalices. I'm going to play these Abrupt Decays. I think they're going to be better than a couple of Veil of Summers. Is our opponent going to be playing the Leyline? Do we care that much about Leyline? I tend to lean into Echo more than some people do. I think that's because I'm not very good with the deck, so it's kind of like a safety blanket of, oh, let's just draw 7 and hope it's okay. So we could trim an Echo if we're worried about Leyline. That gives us 3 Veils and 2 Abrupt Decays. I don't think Chain might be okay. Maybe we'll have 1 Chain in. We still have an Echo that we can dig up. Sure, we'll try it like this. We can play a turn 1 Wishclaw. And then we're kind of just waiting for more stuff to happen. Right, I think we'll keep this. If our opponent plays a Chalice, we at least have that answered. Well, not right now. Are they going to Chalice for 1 again? Really? They're not going to Chalice for 0. Oh, they're going to do both. I see. That's pretty good. So they can Chalice for 2. That doesn't quite lock us out, but it's going to be a pain. What we can do if we find a green source is we can blow up the Chalice for 1 and then Veil of Summer on the turn we want to go. And then all of our stuff's uncounterable. So one of these cards is going to have to get discarded. I think that means we're discarding a Rite of Flame because it does stuff in our graveyard. An opposition agent. Alright, that's a problem. Discard this Rite of Flame. 3 ball. I don't think I'm going to win this game. I think I'm going to take 1 more draw step. It's not a land. I'm definitely going to pack it up. Okay, it is a land. Alright. We can't fetch with it though, but they have an Urborg in play. So if we can draw a Taiga or a Bayou, we can try and do something in this game. Hymns to Turak. I think we just call it a day on that one. Alright, our opponent is like mono black prison. So are we wanting... I don't think you want relays against a prison deck. Or do you? Because these just get stopped by all the things there. All the things we get off of this are just going to get stopped by a Chalice or whatever. So maybe we're supposed to go and lean into the Echo. But if they have a Leyline, then how are we going to beat that? Yikes. I think we're probably going to be relying on our Pulverize a little bit here. Maybe I'm just going to try and go for a turn 1 play here. With a couple of... With a Chain of Vapor in there. Try and lean into that. And that means we probably don't want the Veils. Maybe instead of Veils here we would rather have Thoughtseize. Just in case. Sure. Give me a sweet turn 1. This hand is very slow. I don't think we can keep this against a prison deck. This hand doesn't play Magic the Gathering because we don't have any initial mana sources. Let's mulligan again. What about this hand? We do have a Chain of Vapor. we can Brainstorm, hoping to hit LED is kind of what this hand does. Is that good enough? I don't think so. I think we're going to go for a... Ooh. This one is close to doing stuff. Yikes. Do you want to go lower than 4 cards? What do we keep in this hand? We keep these 2, and then we keep the Brainstorm, and then we keep one of these other cards. We could probably get a 3-card hand that's better. Yikes. This is tough. Are we keeping this and hoping to Brainstorm? Do we believe in Brainstorm? What are we actually looking for? We're looking for... It's just the Echo at this point, isn't it? Are we supposed to mulligan? We get to see 7 cards that way. Sure. Are we going to mulligan to 2? Yikes. I guess. We're not going to mulligan to 1 card. We're going to put these things away. They're going to start with the leyline play. They did not. Okay. Play this. We'll play this. I don't know what land we want. If we want one that taps for Brainstorms, might be important. Or one that taps for Rite of Flames. I just don't know. So we're going to hopefully just sit back on this. A Chrome Mox. Our opponent hasn't really shown us what these Bloodstained Mires are for in their deck. They do have ley lines in their deck though, so they drew a ley line for turn. A Chalice of the Void for 0. It's going to be tough to beat. But right now we're trying to cast a wheel. So that's a 6-drop. Not an easy one to hit with the old Chalice. So the Lotus Petal doesn't do anything here. If our opponent flashes in an opposition agent, at some point we will crack our Mire. But we can be patient on when we fire it off. A Galvanic Relay. That's close to being a thing that might do something. I feel we are not getting anywhere. Right, what is this? A 3-ball. Alright. A Mox Opal that we can't cast. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be winning this one. This feels like a bit of a rough matchup if we don't get the turn 1. Him to Turak, sure. This is the sort of matchup that I would love to be on our opponent's side of. I do enjoy mono black strategies. I think these sorts of prison elements are just going to absolutely bury us. If they play a threat here, like a Shouldered, a Leyline of the Void, so that cuts off our wheel line. I think we can just call it a day here. Alright, so that was the end of the league. Let's talk about the deck. Obviously, this is the first time I played this iteration with Mind's Desire in. I've played the previous versions of the Epic Storm, I think 3 times in total. So I don't have a lot of reps with it. And whenever you watch the good Storm players like Brian and Tony, they make it look so easy. But it really isn't. Like, working out what is even a keepable hand sometimes is a nightmare. And sometimes, like we did have that turn in one of the games where we sort of went early and we're like, okay, we're going to Brainstorm with this Lion's Eye Diamonds crack and hope we can cast something, and then it was just a complete nothing. And if we'd have hit a Wishclaw Talisman, a Burning Wish, an Echo of Eons, or a Mind's Desire, we would have been absolutely laughing. But yeah, this deck is really hard to play, and I am in no way fit to comment on what should or shouldn't be in this deck. It's the sad truth. Storm is very much a specialist deck, especially the Epic Storm, because you have the whole contention of fetching out your lands, and all your lands are wastelandable as well. So you have, and you've got one of each duel. So you've got this extreme tension in terms of how you play out your lands, more so than a lot of other decks, as well as, okay, how are we making mana? What's our probability to draw here? Is it right to cast Brainstorm now? Do I need to wait another turn? When do I go? All those sorts of things. You need so much experience and knowledge to actually put together. I think the best I've done with the Epic Storm is a 2-3. And today we got a 1-4, so that's not very good. But this deck is difficult. What I will say from my experiences is the Mind's Desire felt difficult to cast for me on a few occasions. Like quite often it was in my hand and it was just a blank piece of cardboard. It felt like getting up to casting Mind's Desire was something we needed Lion's Eye Diamonds with. But if Mind's Desire is in your hand, you can't use Lion's Eye Diamond to cast it. So it's a thing we're tutoring for more. Now, there's only 3 in the deck, so it's not as if they're always going to be in your hand. And if you do tutor for a Mind's Desire and play a Mind's Desire, then it has a chance of hitting another Mind's Desire, and that's just going to be great and win you a game. So I do understand why there's 3 in there, and I think that is probably right. I think people who run the numbers on this know what they're doing. I think my over-reliance on Echo of Eons is very telling. When I watch people like Bryant playing this deck, they do not cast Echo of Eons that often, to be honest, and they win a lot more games. So maybe that's part of my naivety with the deck really showing there. But we managed to get a Grapeshot kill. We did manage to get some kills in some rounds. Like if we look at our game-wise, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we went 5, 5-8. That's not the worst in terms of game score. But sideboarding is obviously tricky. I don't think it was that tricky for us, but we might have done it wrong, to be fair. But there's not much you can board in and out of this deck. Like you can shave some of your things here and there, but this is a little bit different to the previous builds of the Epic Storm that had all the baubles and things. This is now just lots of mana, trying to make up to Mind's Desire and things. But I did not shower myself with glory in this league. But hopefully you have seen some of the pitfalls with this deck and see why it's so worth putting in the hours of learning this deck. Because otherwise you're going to play it like a scrub, like me. Because I am not a Storm player. I play Storm every now and then on the channel, and every time I play it, I do this little speech of, I'm not a Storm player. And this particular build of Storm is very hard to play in my experience. Nevertheless, we did a league, and like I said earlier, there's a distinct lack of legacy content makers playing Storm badly, because the people who are playing Storm are dedicated Storm players and tend to do a really good job of it. Whereas I am a terrible Storm player, and you get to see what not to do, and you probably realise loads of different and superior lines to what I should be doing along here, or hands I should mulligan, or whatever. So in a way, I think I provided a little bit of a service here. And if you do want to see people playing the Epic Storm properly, I will link Bryant Cook's channel in the description, because it's well worth watching an absolute master play this deck, because it's really impressive. And you can see the gulf of experience with this deck between me and him if you watch his video, or any of his videos. I think he might have one video of this build or close to this build up at the moment when I'm recording, but by the time this video goes out, I imagine there'll be several, because he does regular Storm videos, and I watch all his content, and I still don't really have a great grasp on playing this deck. Maybe I'll have to do a special guest stream at some point, a special guest video with an accomplished Storm player, because it'd be nice to sort of learn a little bit with somebody teaching me as I go, because this deck is hard. The ceiling of it is so high if you've got the skill and experience with it, but it's one of the decks that requires the most investment of time and testing of all the decks in Legacy, in my opinion. All right, thank you very much for watching and laughing at me probably. Remember to like and subscribe. Why not take a little look at my Patreon, or drop me a message either in the Discord or in a comment about donation decks if that's something you're interested in. You can watch me embarrass myself with more Storm decks if you really want. You can send me those donations. All right. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.